What's up, Controlites? We're back with our second G-Fest 29 2024 recap video. We're going to cover my events from Saturday. Bear with me, ever since I've gotten back from Chicago, I've had a bit of a head cold. Thought that was maybe something with the change of climate. I don't know what that would be, but maybe Cincinnati's got some higher stuff that affects people. Or if I got caught something from somewhere there. God, as long as it's not COVID, we're good. But I figured we'll get this out of the way. We got a lot of stuff in this one to cover. And if the panels maybe weren't as great on Saturday. There wasn't a lot of panels that was super interesting. So, but we'll go. But there's some other cool stuff to talk about. So the first panel was, we had some of the usual characters. This is Everett Ingalls. I don't think that's the Mothra panel. First thing we went to was the Godzilla vs. Mothra panel, which I'm not quite sure if that's the right picture for that or not. I think that was a MonsterVerse panel, so whoopsie. Maybe I didn't get a picture of this one. Just going over the anniversary of Mothra. It was hosted by a podcast that I've followed. Well, they also on YouTube. What was it? Monster Movie Fun Time. And then a couple other people were the hosts for that. So that's not the right picture, so we'll take that off. So it's just went over the history of Mothra and some of the explanation stuff around it. It was Godzilla's last full movie in the Showa era as a bad guy. He started the next movie as a bad guy, but then turned into a good guy. He did a baby face turn. There's cool stuff about this suit. There was one time where the actor stumbled and fell into like the big fanciest model building they built and broke the jaw of the suit. Another scene where the suit caught on fire. So some interesting stuff there. And supposedly the stuff they used to make Mothra's webbing, you could only clean that off with gasoline, which probably was why the suit caught on fire. But it was cool as one of Godzilla's and Showa's Air's last rampaging runs destroying a city. They even brought up one of my favorite scenes. So he's walking through the city, and his tail gets stuck in like a Eiffel Tower-like structure thing. So his tail gets stuck, and he starts thrashing because his tail's stuck, and it causes the tower to fall over, and it falls on his back, causing him. And then he roars and shoots his. I believe he shot his atomic breath. I thought that was very good acting by the suit guy, just to make that look like it would be something realistic. My tail's stuck. What's going on? Oh, okay, I'm free. What the fuck? Something just dropped on me. So it was like shows how well the suit actors portray the animals. They, that symbolized something more real, like a real animal. The controversy over some people were mad that Godzilla was defeated by two baby caterpillars. Which, hey, it's Mothra. Mothra's, it was awesome. So we're also bringing up Mothra. This was the crossover movie that made where Toho created their own cinematic universe. I guess you can't technically say it's the first cinematic universe, since Abbott and Costello did it with the Universal Monsters, bringing in the Wolfman and Dracula and Mummy and stuff into the same movie. But this was the first major cinematic universe. Suck it, Marvel. So they brought in their property, Mothra, from another movie, a standalone movie, brought Mothra in. The next movie, they would also bring a standalone character, Rodan, in. Then they'd have a movie where it just brought all the monsters in. Well, they actually kind of did that. Well, one real movie, one clip movie. But where they just start bringing in all their other kaiju animals and putting them in one big movie. So, putting them all in the same universe. So, Marvel didn't invent that, folks. Sorry. Universal did it and Godzilla did it. But, that was just real cool. That was a cool, fun, nice, fun panel. I like that. So, we had... it's always... I gotta make my tier list movie because it's always one that goes way up into my top 10, but then it'll drop back towards the back of my top 10. It is a movie. It is one of Godzilla movies that I really liked. One of my favorites for a while, just because it was his last big evil one. So it was always good. We had a great combination of actors. It's a really good acting job. A strong female character back in the 60s. Yeah, all the other guys would kind of always kind of put her down, but she made the big plea to get Mothra to come help. And we begin the cycle of Mothra, the queen of the monsters, whose job it always will be to somehow die and be reborn. She's kind of like... So, yeah, Mothra's got the thing where, she always kind of dies for a good cause to prolong something, and then is able to return by being reborn with her, pretty much being reborn and passing her stuff to her children, her memories and stuff, I guess. There's a word for that I can't think of. They also brought up the big old thing about... So we started doing a little bit of continuity, which they've kind of would drop off through. So, Godzilla raids again. Godzilla gets trapped in an iceberg, like in an iceberg, in Godzilla vs. Kong. He breaks out of the glacier, but he falls into the ocean at the end of that battle. So Godzilla shows up this time underground, and so like, how did he get there? But there was a big tidbit about there being a flood, a big rainstorm, and they were pumping the water out. Initially, the movie was supposed to have Godzilla wash ashore and not Mothra's egg. They swiped at the Mothra's egg, and then the theory is Godzilla also washed ashore, but he got buried under silt. And that's what he's breaking out of. Which I always kind of theorize that, because people try to say, it's like, well, they're talking about flooding, and they pumped all this water out, so they pumped out the water that was burying Godzilla. Oh. So, cool to see other people talk about that same theory, so I did enjoy that. But it was a cool, nice panel. Really liked it. Definitely give those guys check those guys out some more there. Time to check them out, especially once I start getting the chance to listen to the podcast while working more. From there, we went down to the interview room, or the autograph room, sorry. So we went to the autograph room to get my autograph with Ria Otto. As you can see, it's the whole clip of me meeting her. I picked a color to match the monster that she was going to sign. So, what is needing to be known about her, which we'll go ahead and go to the next pose here. Yes, I'm a big fat dude. Ria Otto is a stunt woman. She's done, I think she done Power Rangers, stuff like that, but Godzilla fans, she is the first female kaiju suit actor. She played Baragon in Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Monsters Attack. And I think for the longest time, I don't think a lot of people in this area kind of really even knew there was a female in the suit, or knew much, or put much into it, until a behind-the-scenes video made it out to the public. Maybe on a DVD or something somewhere. But it was just some film, and there was a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that would stuff that would come out from Godzilla movies, We saw one about Biollante, which was awesome, how they made Biollante move. But for this one, it was a scene of where Baragon and Godzilla were fighting, and you can hear her in her costume, in the Baragon suit. She's in her suit, and she goes, rah, rah! She's just making the animal roars while they're filming on the set. So, and just like from that came out, and everybody that's where she got super popular from in the States here, at least. Because everybody's like, that is, so thought she was so awesome, because she's in their suits making the roars. So that's kind of what, made everyone really become aware of her there. And so I got to meet her, got her autograph, which is right here. She had a couple different pictures I could pick from. So I picked one where Baragon leaps out and is biting Godzilla. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, Baragon doesn't go well for Baragon. No. Godzilla takes him down. Got to find a wall of my wall. I need a bigger bulletin board. I'm running out of space. So maybe figure out where I want to do with that. So from there we went back up to the panels because we got her autograph before she would go down and do her interview. Oh, that was the same day. Crap. I gotta pull some of those videos out. Alright, but so went down, and so she had her interview. So we had a couple of the people. That was her translator here. This poor woman had to really get put to the ringer because these guys did not ask the greatest questions in the world. And some of their questions were like this massive run-on sentence. Like, was there any deleted scenes? Were you slashing Godzilla or attacking Godzilla or biting Godzilla or this and that? The translator, I'm pretty sure the translator was like, was there any deleted scenes? This guy ain't translating all that. They're like, ask these really long-winded questions knowing that it's got to be translated. Like, come on, folks. The disappointing is, nobody asked about the behind-the-scenes thing, which is was kind of weird to me. That nobody asked that. Let's go to Boo. We'll go to a big screen here so we show some clips we got. So, a little closer up figure. Yeah, all their Godzilla figures. GM1 figure. That's not the one I bought, maybe. So when asked about how would she recommend girls to get into this oh, sorry. Oh, what happened there? All right, so I'm pretty sure it was this here. She also did the Women of Toho, the female stuff. It's pretty much like how girls look up to her, and what would she recommend to girls? Do you want to be a suit actor? Which I don't know how many young girls are saying, "Hey, I want to be in a monster suit." I'm sure that maybe there's some, but she said pretty much she worked hard, do your best. And like sometimes it's just the weird things. Like she got the job because the Godzilla actor was really tall, and they wanted Baragon to be really short, so they called her because she's only 5'2". Because she might even not be. She might be 4'2". Was she 5'2"? She is tiny. So she got the part because her size, and this opened the door for her for a lot of things. So there was another clip. I don't know if I skipped over it, not, but fine. So at one point they asked her if she was a Godzilla fan before she got the role, but she said she didn't know much of. She admitted she didn't know anything about Godzilla. So she wasn't a big fan. She didn't ever see any Godzilla movies before then. So asking her about, so this was her just all saying that she still, after doing the movie, she didn't realize how big Godzilla was, so she went to a special GMK event 20 years later, and the fan she got to see when she went to that. So even an actor getting into Godzilla. So I asked her, what monster would she like to come back and play? And it was, of course, Bargon. All right, yeah, I remember that answer. When asked what was one of her favorite things when filming the movie, she mentioned that they went in, an art director went in, and when designing a sign for a restaurant that you would see in the background, they actually put her name as the name as the restaurant. So she was super, excited, happy, that they they did that little honor for her. She did mention at one point she also got to be an extra in the scene as well outside of the suit. So when asked what was her mentality when she got into the suit, and she said, "I transformed into the Bargon." Explains, so she would do the roar and stuff. So she imagined herself as Bar. She would go in and pretend to transform into Bargon.
Showing off. Thank you so much. It means the world to us and to Ryota. And just as a little exit thing, I think we should do one more Baragon roar for her. So she's got extra memory. Remember, come on. All right. So on the count of three, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3.
And did we go see the models after that? Before the So we had a little bit of time, so we went to see the models that the fans, that people turned in and made. So this one we have a cool little mix and match here. We got Kong, Godzilla, Caesar, Anguirus, Mothra, Rodan, all coming together to fight Biollante. And it's Godzilla, which we have a little other clip from it in a minute. King Caesar with Godzilla, which obviously someone's trying to sell their King Caesar. Then we had this diorama someone made, celebrating Godzilla Millennium a little bit here. So we have Orga, Megaguirus, Orga's spaceship form, and Millennium Godzilla, which I liked how they also included the Hyatt here, since that's where everything took place. I think we have another view of it from here. Very, very well made. Got nicely detailed destruction. You got the skyscrapers with the glass on them. It looks really good. Here's Weston, has a nearby hotel too. Very well done. Then we have Baragon in his first appearance versus Frankenstein, who would go on to be the Gargantuas. Another really, really well done scene from the movie. The Oxygen Destroyer. Got Shin's head, Black Lagoon, couple Godzillas, Kong on the sky, on the Empire State Building. That would rotate around. We'll show that again later on in a minute too. Then just some random monsters, obviously some Kong, aliens, some fresh Cthulhu. We have the Mudos and whatever that is. Some other guys here. Some head sculpts. Minya. Shin. Or Godzilla Varan. Some more Godzillas. Ghidorah. Godzilla and Amazer. Oh. Back up. We lost some of that. Why are you losing it? Damn. Alright. So we have this model, which is the famous scene from Godzilla vs. Kong where he stuffs the tree in Godzilla's mouth. They paid homage to that in Godzilla vs. Kong. Kong did that with the axe handle. So they found a way to still work that in. Then we have a Mecha Godzilla vs. Mecha Kong where they're emulating that scene as well. So we have those two fighting. They're kind of mixed matches. So everything, this is still in progress. Some of the, and this one comes with a description of the event. So you can pause and read that. So the end of the world, come down, all the kaiju are dead. Mecha Godzilla versus Mecha Kong, and they've replaced themselves with other robot beasts. Parts from other robot kaiju. Supposedly they're gonna have like heads hanging from them in a monster graveyard, and it's got a whole backstory for that model. Let's see, we have Megaguirus, Godzilla versus the two larvae, Mothra larvae. Oh, this guy right here. Look at that guy. Can we go big again? Is that going to... There we go. That is awesome. Ghidorah wrapped all around Godzilla. Slightly different angle. And we have another Godzilla. Some head sculpts. Yeah. Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. So this is actually LEDs they light up. I'll have a video clip of that in a second here as well. Awesomely done. There's this awesome little kind of Lego playset. So we have this is Godzilla of Tiamat. We have the Egypt battle. The Buenos Aires battle. It goes right to the Hollow Earth area here. They had their crystal fight and they fought each other. Let me come. That goes down into the even hollower Earth. And so there's a hollow Earth inside the hollow Earth. There must be a hung ground where they fell down to there. So we had to go through and fought the water demon to Scar King's lair. And even made a Shimu area here for Shimu to hide in. Shimu's little lair there. Well done. Very well done. Godzilla biting Ingress from Godzilla Raids Again. The death of Ingress. The Gargantuas. Some more head sculpts. Shrink it down again. Since there's Shin Godzilla's to the right. There's Cloverfield. Not sure why it's like cutting them off. Godzilla getting sprayed by Mothra. We got Gamera. And some more Godzillas. Shimu versus I think I don't know sure what that thing's from. Cool Godzilla bust. There's Bargon. Get a better shot of them in a minute. Oh, yes we don't. Okay, we got the video, so it's a little video you can feel. You see the Kong spinning. This also was spinning. Really cool. So there's the light up. They're just lighting up there. Then we have Godzilla with Godzuki. So pretty sure the next panel was getting in the Ultraman for new fans. So one thing I know who Ultraman is, I never was really big on Ultraman, so I didn't really watch Ultraman. And neither is my uncle, who I went with. So we thought this would be kind of cool. They would go through a bunch of different Ultraman. So he went through like all the Ultraman stuff and talked about different flows and which ones to go through and stuff. Alright, I can't zoom in on that. So that kind of showed the trips of the Heisei Air, which was more CGI and exit slideshow. There we go. I really exited slideshow. Oh, no. All right, we'll just pull it up. Since you're gonna make this hard on me, there. All right. So, the Heisei Air tropes. The addition of CGI vehicles, monsters, and beam attacks to the roster of special effects, more detailed suits in Kenju, and mixing more mature storytelling in serial episodes that mark a sort of maturation for the franchise. The first example of nostalgia episodes in the series. I thought it carries over to Godzilla, too. So, Heisei Air is where they started doing CGI stuff there. And then definitely focused on the beam attacks. Suits of Kenju definitely were boring. There was a more serious, darker storyline when the Godzilla moved that way. So at the go back. So at the end, it's where he's kind of suggested wherever you want to jump on the area. So if you want to start watching Ultraman the Showa Air, you recommend Ultraman, Ultra 7, and Return of Ultraman. If you want to start in the Heisei Air, there's Tiga, Dyna, Gaia, and Mebius. Gaia actually sounded pretty interesting. And the newer generations, Z, X, and Bizarre. So that's actually something made for younger audience. As well, or you could just watch the Netflix stuff. Supposedly the Netflix stuff is a good jumping on start. And supposedly there's Ultraman for adults. The biggest of these was the Ultra N Project, consisting of Ultraman the Next and Ultraman Nexus. Heisei Ultra 7 is a continuation of the original idea of Ultra 7, in which 7 was the only hero to ever visit Earth. Returned to Earth in the 90s to take a modern problem like climate change and political angst. Shin Ultraman. So just some more mature, not as kiddie versions of Ultraman stuff. So something I might need to check out. Get into Ultraman for the first time. Finally give Ultraman a shot. So. Sorry for the little cut there. Forgot some pictures. There was one more panel I went to. For some reason I was thinking this was Sunday. So this panel was Kaiju Kingdom podcast, another podcast I've saved to check out, with the Godzilla and Kong creators. So I was really pumped about this one. As you can see, we've seen her in a few of them already. First time seeing him, though. Is because this right here is Jared Krukowski. Sorry, Jared. Who I follow on Twitter. He was like coming out, and he was when that movie came out, he was sharing a lot of his thought processes on creating the monsters for those Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla and Kong New Empire. Which is really cool. Of course, he also got a little hate because there was people that like to hate and whine about everything. But I saw his name on there, so I was like super pumped to go to this one to see check because like I said, he's a cool guy I follow on Twitter and have interacted with. The other guy I did not realize was listed to be here, but I was super happy stoked when I saw that he was Brian Musolti. He is the writer on the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong comics, which I haven't read them yet, but I have them all over there somewhere, stacked up. I think I've gotten the final issue by now. Thinking about all 7. Super stoked to say he was there too, talking about some of his stuff. So we kind of giving up some of the ideals. So for Scar King, he said he kind of wanted to make Scar King the opposite. Kong got that big hero type body build. So he wanted Scar King to look kind of lengthy and leanly, making that more devious look. So he came up with that. Shimu. So originally, I guess he wasn't going to design Shimu, but they pretty much all they were told about Shimu was it's Ice Godzilla. So the people that were trying to make it, they're just trying to make a white Ice Godzilla, pretty much. They didn't want to, so the Adam Wingard didn't want to look just like Godzilla. So he asked Jared to want to take a shot at it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, sure." So he wrote like 40 designs of all kinds of different things. One with Triceratops horns, and stuff like that. And so one was kind of based off of an iguana, which had a nose on its horn, and Adam seemed to like the snout the best, so he took off the horn, added some other stuff to it, and that's where it ended coming from, because he kind of took the idea of a polar bear and iguana, and so that's where it came up with the concept. So that's what went with. I was talking about trying all the stuff they were trying with Godzilla, adding the Thagomizer on his tail and the elbow spikes, and originally they were going to have more stuff on there. But it was like really cool talking about some of his designs. We'll get to we'll talk about that at the end. Another cool part that got added at the end there. Talk about his. Then he talked about his comic writing. So he's pretty much set in the DC Elseworlds universe. So then he had free run of to do whatever he wanted, to use whatever version of DC characters he wanted to use. So he just used pretty much his favorite versions of a lot of the characters. And he had a couple of things that he thought definitely went together. Superman and Godzilla had their face off against each other. Supergirl and Kong, because we all know Kong likes the ladies. That was an easy fit for him. The one that I got there, because a lot of people obviously weren't familiar with this comic. It sounds like, I haven't finished reading it, but a lot of people there wasn't too familiar with it. It was Lex Luthor and Mechagodzilla, which was the big bad. So he's parting things up with that. And he's talking about how some of the cover art that came out and the story behind that, and some of the rules. Like, he wanted to put a LexCorp logo on Mechagodzilla, but he was not allowed. They told him he wasn't allowed to alter any of the monsters' designs. Which Jared here was like, "Hey, I would have loved the LexCorp logo on Mechagodzilla," but it's like, but the fact that they told you weren't allowed to change my stuff, it's like, I'm kind of stoked about that too. That kind of makes you feel good. So that was really funny. This part, I guess, where obviously spoilers for people who haven't read it, is where Guy Gardner gets killed and Kong gets the lantern ring. So he's trying to figure out who to send the ring to, and somebody suggested one of the monsters. Like, they're not going to let me do that. Like, I think Kong should get it. It's like, they won't let me do that. So he's like, let's go ask. It's like, they gave him permission to give Kong the Green Lantern ring. So we have Lantern Kong. So all the fun stuff he had to do and how he would. Then we got to do questions, and I lined up to do one as well. And I guess whoever you answered a question, which kind of in the long run wouldn't matter, but he had pictures that he was going to sign, and he had some free comic book stuff. So kind of would like mind some of the free comic book stuff he had, or so. He had like the omnibus books, and then he had some comics that made noises. So I was like, haha, man. So I got to ask my question. I did thank him for giving me the scene of Godzilla, which if you haven't ever seen the meme, Superman down on the ground, out and out, because he took an atomic breath attack from Godzilla and got leveled. My brother's a Superman fan, so that gave me bragging rights that my guy beat your guy. So something. So I had that joke, but then I asked Jared, obviously, was he, what was the thought process on the color change? Obviously, towards one of the big controversies was switching from the blue to the pink, which is magenta. It's ultraviolet purple. It's not pink. To be that's technically on the color scale is what it is. So yes, but it was because one thing I've never heard was that was his design, or just someone else made up that choice. Where did the color change come from? So he initially said his idea actually was a darker red. They had a dark red, and then the movie came out. I was like, the studio went pink. I was like, oh, they went pink. So I got my 8x10. Let's grab that real quick. So I got a picture. We also went down, and the last question to be a real itty bitty little girl who I think is in the shows up later, who asked if he had anything to do with Mothra. And where he said, well, there's some Mothra concepts I made, but I am not allowed to ever show them. So he made some designs for Mothra, but in the long run they decided just to keep the legendary King of the Monsters version of Mothra, and that his concept art for Mothra is never allowed to see the light of day. So he has to keep them under wrap. They will never be seen. But so they run out of time. So to do the autograph part, they had us go meet somewhere else. And obviously, people brought all kinds of stuff for these guys to autograph. I guess I should have done more homework, and I wouldn't know they were there. And everybody was getting stuff autographed, and there was extra photos they were giving away to people. So I was like, so I guess I should have went for the DC comic ads question so I could get a free comic book at least. But then we hit this moment.
Thanks, man.
So that little video led to. Where's it? This don't work. Led to this picture. There. Stupid thing. Which led to that autograph. So I got an autograph of the guy who designed a lot of our Kaiju Monsterverse guys, Mechagodzilla. Another cool story he shared was, so when he came to Mechagodzilla, he didn't want to make Mechagodzilla just a split image of Godzilla as a robot, so he made some design changes. The claw hands gave him kind of a different looking mouth and body, and so it wasn't a one-to-one just straight rip-off of Godzilla. But he said one of the things he ran into was a lot of people were struggling because he found he didn't know that fan art for these movies were like drawing these people love to draw these monsters. So he got criticism for making that Mechagodzilla very hard to draw. So when he did Scar King and Shimu, he tried to keep them not as difficult, so he said so fans could draw them more. So it was really cool. So that was very, very cool. So getting to meet those guys. Those guys you could have easily sold autographs for. So I'm actually kind of surprised because a lot of the other autographs. There was supposed to be the girl from the Gamera 90s strip movies, like the girl who bonds with Gamera, but she had to back out. The mocap actor for Kong was there. That would have been maybe a cool one too to get. But other than that, their guests were like some authors and model makers. So I was like, not as big as cast that we had last year when we had the star from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, the mocap actor for Godzilla in the Legendary movies. We had Don Fry from Godzilla Final Wars, as well as somebody have to go back and watch him from King Kong Escapes, who I thought she was the main actress, but supposedly she's just a secondary character, so I'm not quite sure, because I thought it was the main actress as we meant. But go back and check that out a little more. So from there, we broke for dinner. That was Panda Express. Then we came back for the costume parade, which was slammed. Fortunately, my uncle's on the shore side, so he gave up on it because he couldn't see anything. I was able to put up long enough where people got bored and moved up, so I got closer up to the front so I could get better videos. Which that's going to be its own video. That's going to probably take me a little bit. The next thing I work on is probably going to take me a few days because I'm not going to have much time to do that tomorrow at all. So I have that up by the end of the week. So we have the costume parade. Some other stuff during the day is this is obviously where the crowd hit, because there's a huge line of people registering for Saturday only, and the vendor room lines for both. There was a second vendor room that downstairs. I never even got the chance to go in there. But those lines were insane almost the entire day. If you got in there, it'd probably be like a 2-hour wait. So finally, towards the end of the day, when it finally died off a little bit to a shorter line that we were able to go through the line and get back inside again. Looked around at some stuff. Like I said, there's nothing that really jumped out to me like I mentioned in the last video, so I didn't buy anything else. So actually got off pretty light. I've spent under $200 at G-Fest this year, since this was my only big buy, and then this and some shirts and some autographs. Well, I paid for one of the autographs. The other one I got for free just by going to the panel. So yeah, nothing really struck out at me. And probably a good thing too. Probably couldn't afford to spend that much money, but it is insane. I did find out at a panel on Sunday that there were like 10,000 people came to this G-Fest. So Godzilla's getting up there in popularity. He's mainstream, so a lot of people came to. So G-Fest was a lot more crowded this year. So it was a bigger crowd, they said, than last year, and even bigger than some of their pre-4 COVID times crowds. So Godzilla's definitely in the mainstream. Alright, so the rest of the night, we finished it off. There was I finished the night off with some movies. First one was, maybe a premiere for the event, because they had signs up for it, was Bloodspawn. So it was another low indie movie, small budget. Some of the actors were okay. Some of the actors were not good. The little girl was really bad. Our monster was a serpent-like winged serpent thing that was, I don't know if it was CGI or claymation, but it looked pretty hilariously bad. So is this real? At times not bad, at times really goofy, bad movie. This one, though, they did it right. It was like maybe slightly over an hour long, I think. What do I have down for the time for it? Like an hour and 15 minutes. So, which I don't know if it ran that full amount of time. So this one they kept it short. Where the shark movie, they just ran it way too long. So this one, and like I said, the shark movie just kept repeating this. This one ran an hour, so it kept it shorter, but it kept but it was all about flow in the story, so not much. Just kind of where the other one just kept repeating some of the same stuff over and over again. This one kind of had the story go all the way through. So for what it was, it didn't lose its muster for its badness. So it stayed a fun bad movie. So it was a good time. from there, we had something I suppose was made by kids. That was like a 15-minute long little clip. Where there's like they had to take the kids had the control robot to fight a monster. It was real cheesy, but hey, it was made by kids, so it wasn't bad. Then we had something which I'm not sure if this was just a short film or if it's an episode from something because it's. I guess I could have read the Bloodspawn thing for you. So Bloodspawn, a frontier air gang of misfits band together to battle an evil and ancient bloodthirsty hell beast of native folklore in this retro homage to classic 80s creature features. Directed by Derek Campbell and David Rotan. Like I said, they kept it short enough where the cheesiness didn't wear off, so they did good. So the thing I was actually interested in, it was like half an hour long show, it was something called Evie. In a world decimated by nuclear war, which never really could tell it was nuclear war, where barbaric clans and genetically modified dinosaurs roam the countryside, a young girl, Evie, must venture alone to a distant farmhouse to seek medical supplies for her dying father. Directed by Alexander von Hoffman. So, I always felt like it was Australia. It definitely seemed like they were Australian. So they're like trying to put up a barbed wire fence, and the young girl's kind of just being like a young girl, not wanting to do much. They separate. Something happens. The dad gets attacked, or it doesn't really something. He gets injured, very badly injured, like said gangrene. So Evie has to venture forward to the neighbors to get medical supplies. Well, on the way there, she has to hide from some Mad Max-like guys in a truck who are just cruising by. And then she makes it to the... She hides from them on the field, and then she still, after she hears some dinosaur roar, you hear some roaring animals, something that chase those guys off from looking for her. She gets to the neighbor's house. They're dead. She starts getting the medical supplies. Then our two guys from the truck show back up. And there's a dinosaur that's, I guess, in there that kills both of them. And then she's escaping. She sees its eggs. So she destroys its eggs with the medical supplies. Cuts herself. And leaves a trail of blood all the way back to her dad. Gives the dad the medicine. But the dinosaur also finds them. And it ends with like her leaning up against the window, and the dinosaur's it looks like a Ceratosaurus, sort of like. It's like peering in the window, looking at him. Her dad, so she has like a harpoon gun, and goes to black, and you hear her shoot the harpoon gun, and the dinosaur roar. Dinosaur didn't look bad. Now, if it probably showed it interacting with people, it probably would look like Asylum, which is going to be funny to mention. So it was actually that one was pretty decent. I like that. Except I don't know if that was just a short film or if there's actually supposed to be more of those or not. Because I thought at one point I saw something saying it was an episode. So I had to check more into that. So that was cool. And then after that was something called Monster Mash, which was an Asylum movie. So it was an upstep in quality. Which again, that's the second time I got to say that an Asylum movie was an upstep in quality. This one actually, for the most part, wasn't actually too bad for him. So it's a Michael Madison movie as he plays Victor Frankenstein, and he sends Frankenstein out to get some of the other stuff from the other monsters. He wants Dracula's blood, the mummy's heart. I can't remember what he got from the other two guys. Invisible Man, and it was a little late at night, so I was dozing off a little bit at this one. Mainly because this was really actually not very action-packed. So it starts off... Frankenstein kidnaps Dracula's daughter to try and use him as a bait. So I guess Victor Frankenstein's dying, so he's trying to find a way to stay alive. So it's like really slowly driven, just people dressed as the characters and just character driven. So it's pretty slow for most of the movie, and then he does something where he turns himself into a werewolf beast monster CGI, and then Dracula turns himself into a giant vampire bat. They have this big old fight scene until they take him out. And they form The Avengers. I mean, the monsters. That was okay for an Asylum movie. It was definitely a different type of Asylum movie, so it didn't rely on its bad CGI stuff until the end. And that would wrap up night number 2. So, like I said, the panels were there was a couple real interesting ones. That there was definitely like I wanted to see the interview, the Ultraman thing, just how to get an Ultraman was cool, and the interview with the writer and designer for a couple of Godzilla and stuff was really cool. So definitely, so that was Saturday. So like I said, really fun day. We'll work on the costume parade video as well as we'll do a Sunday recap since there was a couple of panels on Sunday that were actually really interesting. They had a handful there. But until next time, Kachoro out.